My name is David Bales. I'm the head of the Fiduciary Risk team for MannionDaniels. Money laundering is the process of making money that's generated through criminal activities appear as if it's come from a legitimate source. This is something that applies to any kind of criminal activity, but it's frequently associated with both organised crime and terrorism. Anti-money laundering refers to a set of laws, regulations and processes that is intended to prevent this. In our sector, MannionDaniels has to recognise that we face an increased risk of misappropriation of funds and resources, especially those that could support terrorist activities in the areas in which we work. And so these anti-money laundering methods are an essential part of how we operate. MannionDaniels works for a more healthy, equitable, inclusive, safe and sustainable world. And much of our work focuses on reaching poor and vulnerable people living in fragile and conflict-affected states. Terrorists and known terror organisations operate in the areas in which we carry out projects, so it's vitally important to us that we have robust controls in place to prevent money laundering and to prevent funds being channeled to terrorist activities. Our approach to preventing money laundering relies on a cohesive framework of financial controls across all of MannionDaniels' activities. The framework is quite wide-ranging as the risks have to be considered for each new area of activity. Just to provide a couple of examples of the anti-money laundering processes we have in place. Money is not released by MannionDaniels unless staff, consultants, contractors and suppliers complete and provide documentation confirming the legitimate identities of their businesses and their registrations. And this is carried out through the due diligence process before we begin any contractual relationship. In addition to that, checks are carried out on staff and other resources such as consultants and contractors to confirm that those people we're partnering with or who receive funds from MannionDaniels aren't included in any lists of prescribed groups or governments, blacklists or sanctions lists. Anti-money laundering extends far beyond these checks and any operations we carry out must be considered for risk and the processes must be put in place. Everyone in the organisation plays a role in preventing money laundering and countering terrorism. Everyone has a responsibility for their own awareness of the processes and procedures and MannionDaniels' own policies. And you're also responsible for remaining vigilant and remaining aware of the risks. It should be noted that these risks aren't theoretical or academic. We have, through our own existing projects, experienced quite a high volume of cases of attempted fraud in the past, and it's impossible to tell where the funds would have ended up had the frauds actually taken place. So we would advise everyone to take the responsibility for preventing money laundering seriously. Within MannionDaniels, the team that leads on it is the Fiduciary Risk team. There's a number of means by which you may report an incident in which you're concerned that there's money laundering or funds being channeled to terrorism. Firstly, the first port of call is to go to either your line manager or to your technical lead. This should be your main contact within MannionDaniels, and it's the preferred method of making contact. However, if you're concerned about that, or if you prefer to make direct contact, you can get in contact with my team, the Fiduciary Risk team, and I'm happy to speak to you to myself, or any member of my team will be happy to take your call and advise you on the ways forward. Finally, if you wish to make a report anonymously, MannionDaniels offers a service through an external provider called ExpoLink. You can find a link to our anonymous whistleblowing service on either the MannionDaniels website or any of the websites for our funds.